The Trail by Mika Hashimoto. Chapter 1. Out in the woods, all by myself, I've become aware of the little things. There are the good littles, cooling my face with a handful of water from a mountain stream, the way sunlight plays through wind-rippled leaves, the startled leap of a deer that only I see. Then there are the bad littles, mosquitoes, mostly. Achy feet, lying down on a sharp rock under the tent after a long day of hiking, being too tired to move, and waking up to a bruise the size of a baseball on my shoulder. But really, these are little things. Then there are the little things that can turn into big things. I call them my keep lists. When I'm out on the trail, every hour to two, I tick them off. Number 1, keep warm. 2, keep hydrated. 3, keep eating. 4, keep an eye on the sun. Ignoring a little keep could turn into a big problem later. So I'll pull on a jacket if I'm cold, and slug back some water if I'm thirsty, or scarf down a Snickers if my belly rumbles. And I always try to make camp before dark. It's a simple system, but I've learned the hard way that if you neglect one of the keeps long enough, before you know it, your teeth are chattering as you tilt back for an aspirin for your dehydrated headache, trying to make dinner in the pitch dark with a groan in your stomach, loud enough to wake the zombies. In the woods, after dark, it's easy to believe in zombies. But I know better than to be afraid of that. Well, sort of. Right now, I'm doing pretty good with my keeps list. It's evening, and I've pitched my tent by a small stream. Even though it's late June, I'm layered up with a wool hat and 2 jackets, a light fleece, and a waterproof shell. I've taken a long drink of water and have unpacked my mess kit to make dinner. Bowl, cup, fork. A quart pot with a lid that doubles as a frying pan. Next, I break out my stove. It's an MSR pocket rocket, a pretty cool piece of camping equipment that folds to the size of my fist. I screw it onto my fuel canister and open 3 pot supports. A quick twist of my wrist turns on the gas. I flick a match, and a second later, a bright blue flame darts up. I pour the rest of my water bottle on the pot and settle up onto the stove. By the time the water has boiled, I've dug through my pack and found my meal for the night, a package of spaghetti and some ready-to-eat tomato sauce in a plastic pouch. It doesn't compare to what I've been eating back at Gran's house, but I'm so hungry I don't care. I dump the spaghetti right into the bubbling water. As the long, thick strands twist in the water, a burst of saliva floods my mouth. I've been on the trail for just a few days, but have enough food for only 1 more. 2 if I count my candy bars as full-on meals. I've been eating more than I expected. I'm going to need to find a gas station or grocery store on a real road soon to restock. That's what I call them now, real roads. Gravel and tar with straight yellow lines that run true and smooth to their destinations. Sometimes when bad littles are getting to me, I'm laying in the tent and stray mosquito won't stop buzzing, or my pack strap presses right on my back blue shoulder. I think about taking a real road. A real road would bring me home so fast. All I would need to do is follow one into a town and turn myself into the police station. A few hours later, I would be home. But taking a real road would mean giving up. And I can't do that. Not yet. Not while there's something warped and unfinished inside me that can be drained away only by hiking, step by step, down this 2-foot wide path into the wilderness for 400 more miles, until I'm standing at the top of Mount Katahdin at the end of the Appalachian Trail. Just when I'm crouching over the boiling pot, calculating the last nuggets of food in my pack, I hear it. A growl in the shadows. My heart slams into my throat. Bear. I've been so busy thinking about the little things that I lost sight of the big ones. A bear is a big thing, and not a good one. I am alone, with only a Swiss Army knife for protection, and I'm pretty sure that a 2-inch blade covering in last night's cheese crumbs won't stop much of anything. But I slide the knife out of my back pocket anyway and point it out ahead of me, jabbing at the night. The growl gets louder. It's coming from a choked tangle of bushes 50 feet from my campsite. In the thickening darkness, I can't see when it might attack. I think I read somewhere that if you see a black bear, you shouldn't run away. They'll think you're prey. You're supposed to look big and make loud noises. So I stand up slowly. I open my mouth to shout at it. Nothing comes out. I also read somewhere that animals can see and smell fear, which is really too bad because I'm trembling all over, and I can feel myself breaking into a cold sweat. Look big, I tell myself again. Be brave. But then my mind empties, and I'm just praying, please don't eat me, please don't eat me, please don't eat me. Bristling fur, sharp teeth, snarling lips. I cry out as it comes hurtling from the bushes like a burst of crackling gunfire, and it's a dog. Shaggy-faced, flop-eared, eyes brave with desperation, pitch black except for a hollowed-out chest that's so mud-splattered I can't tell if it's brown or white. A tail bent at the tip, and though someone has tried to snap it in half, he's definitely a murt. Mangy and starving and ugly as sin. I can count his ribs. The dog rushes at me, but I feel my heart start beating again. I leap back as he stalks over to my cook site. A swift kick with his hind legs upsets my dinner pot. Hey! I shout, but it's too late. Spaghetti and foamy, starchy water spill to the ground. The movement was practiced, smooth. This dog has done this before. He must have seen me. A skinny kid with unwashed dark hair and terrified brown eyes who weighed less than 100 pounds, even with his pockets full of change. I figured it was an easy target. He grabs a mouthful of scorching noodles and beats it back to the bushes. I've never seen a dog hold boiling food in its mouth before. The rest of my fears melt away. He must have been near crazy with hunger. I wonder how long he's been out here, scavenging for scraps from frightened hikers. I stare at the remaining spaghetti lying in the dirt. My dinner. My stomach growls angrily. I can try to salvage the remains, give the noodles a long rinse, and hope the tomato sauce covers up any leftover grit. I sigh. Instead, I dig out a fork out of my mess kit and scoop up the muddy spaghetti into my pot. I tiptoe over to the edge of the campsite and dump the contents on the ground. I can see the dog now. He's 20 feet away, behind the thickest part of the bushes. He watches me with uncertain eyes. I back up slowly. The dog does not budge until I have retreated all the way to the tent. Then he shuffles forward and begins gulping down the rest of the dinner. Enjoy it, I tell him. I'm still annoyed, but at least he seems to appreciate my cooking. Digging into my pack, I pull out a flattened peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It was going to be my lunch for tomorrow, but it will have to do for tonight. As the dog busies himself with my pasta, I put the rest of my food and then crawl into the tent where I spend the last minutes before true dark with a taste of a cold sandwich in my mouth and the certainty that tomorrow I'm going to have to find more food.